Thank you guys for having me. Obviously, there's been a lot that has gone on this off season, and ultimately, I'm here to just kind of put it in the past. I'm not here to make this about me. Ultimately, I'm excited to be here. I told someone the other day. I told Julie the other day. I told my pastor in Cherry Hill that this is the most fun I've had coming to work in a long time. These past 4 weeks, being with this new coaching staff, being with this young team, some of the vets like myself, Kels, Lane, B. It's been a lot of fun coming to work each and every day. It's been freeing to kind of just focus on football. Last year I was hurt. I had an ankle injury that was freaking debilitating at times. Had surgery in the off season, and practicing at the end of the year just wasn't fun because it was a grind each and every day. And now I feel great. The ankle feels great. And so just to come out here with the new coaching staff has been so much fun. Coming to compete every day, which has been a blast, which I love to do. Never shy away from that. And ultimately, like I've said all along, this is the place I want to be. This is the place I want to retire. And those feelings haven't changed. So with that being said, you guys can do whatever you want with the questions, but it's going to be pretty standard in the fact that I'm moving on from everything that happened this offseason. There have been apologies. There have been things that we've mended. And ultimately, I'm here. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be a leader of this football team.
We can start off with Dave Zangaro and then Tim McManus.
Hey, Zach, the last time we did talk to you, it was a long time ago at this point. It seemed like you were pretty convinced you wouldn't be here. Are you surprised as you look back that you are still here right now?
Yeah, I mean, the last time we talked was obviously an emotional time for me. But things change. I mean, things do change. Julie and I pick a word for the year each and every year going into the year. And in December, that word was trust. And it was based on the scripture Proverbs 3:5, which says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And while there have been times that I'm like, man, what is going on? What is going on? Ultimately, I've always fallen back on that. And that scripture has kept me with a great mindset this entire offseason. Being in Arizona, rehabbing my ankle with Brett Fisher down there was phenomenal. I feel like this is one of the best camps that I've had in my time here. I felt great. The blocking was really good. Pass catching is always going to be there. And I think for me, there was so much talk this offseason. It just allowed me to really just focus on being the best player I could possibly be and just keep coming back to that scripture. For me, allowed me to be in this mindset that I am right now.
Go ahead, Tim, and then Zach Berman.
Hey, Zach, it's no secret that trades were explored during the off season. I mean, where was your mind at that time? Even though you say you wanted to stay in Philadelphia, at that point in time, why did it look like maybe moving on was the best thing for you? And what did you need to hear in order to be comfortable returning to Philly?
Yeah, obviously there was a lot of things out there. Some truthful, some not truthful. But at the end of the day, I can control what I can control, and that's being the best football player I could possibly be all offseason. I couldn't allowing this offseason to focus on getting healthy for me was ultimately somewhat of a blessing in disguise, because to me, my mindset was if this ankle and this body isn't where it needs to be, it's all a moot point where I play at the end of the day. So I was really at peace with the fact that each and every day I woke up working on getting as healthy as possible. And it was a process. I didn't walk. I was in a boot. I was in crutches for 2 weeks. I was in a walking cast for 2 weeks, and I was in a boot for a month. And so those 8 weeks were a grind. And every day, it didn't matter what everything was being written. I was solely focused on getting better. And for me, it was a really easy to compartmentalize everything else going on, because to me, the only thing that mattered was getting as healthy as possible. And so, yeah, there were things that were close, things were not close. But at the end of the day, I'm glad I'm here. I'm excited to be here. Like I said, I think this has been one of the best camps I've had in my 9 years now, which is crazy. And I'm excited about this year.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Martin.
Zach, good to see you. From a football perspective, how do you see this working out with you and Dallas? Because obviously Dallas is in his fourth year and entering a contract year. And then the second part of the question is, why have you decided to take the approach you have as opposed to, in essence, operating leverage and making it hard for them? Yeah,
I mean, the thing with me and Dallas is I haven't looked at this as a competition between Dallas and I. It's not a competition. We're two players for the Philadelphia Eagles. All I can focus on is being the best player I can be. I can't focus on how they feel about other people, whether they want to be in 11 personnel, whether they want to be in 12 personnel. I just know that I can produce in this league at a high level. I feel better now than I did at this time last year going into the season, physically, mentally, emotionally. And so there's no doubt in my mind that I can be exactly the player I was, if not better than I was, how everyone talked about me prior to this past year. And obviously things didn't go the way I wanted, we wanted. Some of that was a part of the things I could control. Some of it was not. But ultimately, I know what I can do in this league. The coaches are going to decide who's on the field, who's not on the field. And whatever they decide, I'm going to roll with. But at the end of the day, I know what I can do. And the reason that I approached it, I didn't talk all off season. Obviously, I told my agent, don't leak anything. This is between Zach Ertz. This isn't about me ruffling feathers. I love this place. I love this team. I love the city. And so the business was going to be kept in-house. There wasn't going to be leaks from our camp or what was going on. At the end of the day, I'm a pro. I'm excited. I love playing football. I love the process. I love the work of Monday to Saturday to get my body ready for Sunday. This isn't for me just a 17-day job that you show up 17 days out of the year ready to go. No, this is something that I love to do. I love to complete my craft. You're never going to be perfect at sports, which is one of the biggest challenges as well as the biggest blessings, because there's always something to work on. And so for me to I wanted to put myself in a situation where I've given so much to this team for the past 8 years. They've given me so much the past 8 years. And I love this team at the end of the day. And so for me, it was all about respecting that. This team is going to be a lot bigger than 86 going forward. And so for me, I love this city too much to quote unquote burn it down, like some people wanted me to do at times or whatnot, because ultimately I love this place.
Go ahead, Martin, and then Jeff McLean.
Hey, Zach. Since we haven't talked to you, I guess since the end of the season and everything, the Eagles traded Carson Wentz, whom you were obviously pretty close with, and you mentioned how these last 4 weeks have been the most fun you've had in a training camp. What is it about Jalen Hurts that has kind of made it that way for you, and your thoughts on Carson being traded?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I talk about the most fun I've had at training camp is because my mindset is just so much different than it has been in the past. In the past, my first couple of years, it was almost this me against Brent for so long, me against Dallas, even though it wasn't, but it was just a competition every day. You're constantly comparing. In this training camp, I just said, I'm just going to focus on myself, being the best player I can possibly be. And ultimately, it's been the most freeing mentally because it's not a competition. And so for me, that has been the most rewarding time in my personal growth. This isn't a Zach against the world thing. This is Zach as a part of this team and being the best player I can be to help this team and help the young guys. I mean, we have a young group, obviously, young receivers, young quarterback. And so it's fun to kind of talk to these guys about not only on the field stuff, but the process of what it takes to be successful in this league off the field, mentally dealing with some of the things off the field. And so it's kind of been a new season, per se, a new chapter of my football career. I still feel like I got a lot of great football in me. I don't think I'm anywhere close to being done. And obviously things happen with Carson. He's not here, but at the same time, Jalen's been awesome this summer. When I was back here this summer throwing with him, even before training camp, I could tell right away that he wasn't the same player that he was when we left in January. And so I think it's a testament to the work ethic. I mean, you guys see it. Me and him are on the practice field each and every day after practice because he's willing to work and continue to grow. And it's just been fun to kind of learn new things with new players and new coaches. I mean, I told someone this the other day that I've learned so much from Nick Sirianni as a receiver and as a receivers coach, and him implementing so much of his techniques and the details. He's so good as a technician that I'm just picking things each and every day from him that I never even thought about, and was almost counterintuitive to the way that I had so much success for a lot of things. So I'm excited about kind of showing off some of the things I've learned from Coach.
Go ahead, Jeff McLean, and then Bo.
Zach, considering everything you've done for this organization, did you feel like you were treated honestly this offseason by the front office?
I knew it was going to be you, Jeff. At the end of the day, it's a moot point. This organization has believed in me not only this first 8 years of my career, but they believed in me probably more than anyone else did in the league. They were standing firm to what they believed was fair, and ultimately I can't fault them for that. They know how I feel about this city. I truly love being here, and what's happened in the past is in the past to me. I'm not thinking about it. For me and my faith, it's all about forgiveness, and who am I to not be able to extend a forgiving arm with everything I believe in my faith. And so for me, I'm here now. The off season is over. This is all about the Philadelphia Eagles and being the best player I can be for this team and this city. And last year was terrible without the fans, and I cannot wait for September 19th against the Niners with the link packed again. It is going to be phenomenal.
Go ahead, Bo, and then John McMullen.
Hey Zach, you had posted something on social media about Julie's road to the Olympics and her rehab and stuff. Casey, can you wait one sec? I wonder what perspective what she went through gave you about what you were going through and the difficulty of that.
Yeah, this offseason was interesting. I think Julie tore her MCL in May, I want to say, and I was in Arizona at the time. I planned to go. My trainer was like, "You need to get away for a week. Go to Chicago, hang out with Julie." She gets hurt the Sunday that I was supposed to fly out for our mini vacation. We figure out all the tests. She has a grade 3 MCL, and we just adjust. I packed her stuff up. At that point, I was moving well enough to kind of pack up her apartment. We flew back out to Arizona. We stayed at Jordan Hicks's house all off season in Arizona, rehabbing. And we had treatment tables right next to one another, and we called it couples therapy. And it was a tough time in our careers. When you're dealing with injuries, it's the lowest point. I mean, you could deal with a lot of stuff as athletes, but just being so far removed from your peak is tough. And so just to be able to lean on one another during that time and really build each other up during that time, rehabbing together, doing everything we could to truly invest to get back to where we could be, it was a really rewarding time for us because we hadn't got to spend much time since the pandemic and all of us kind of went away and had to do long distance again. But the thing I learned from her is just her commitment. I mean, mentally, she was so strong to deal. The first game in the Olympics, they lose 3-0. She plays 45 minutes, and she was supposed to be on a minute count per se. And she comes in, she injects energy into that team. And I think from afar, seeing just how much energy, how much juice she brought to that team, I was like, man, I should be doing. I can bring even more juice to this football team. I can gas people up even more. And so for me, seeing that from afar, just seeing how she leads, our leadership styles are a little different. She's very talkative, very vocal, whereas I'm kind of more quiet, just want to lead by example. But ultimately, it's going to make me a better leader in that regard.
All right, we have time for one more, and then we'll get Jalen Hurts in here. So go ahead, John.
Hey, Zach, good to see you. There was an NFL media report. I don't know if you saw it about your shorts being inside out. Can you clarify if that was some kind of message or if that was overblown? And then second, you were talking about mentoring the young players. Just wanted to get your thoughts on Tyree Jackson and what you thought about him with that transition. It's obviously a very difficult one.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tyree, even throughout the offseason, even though I wasn't here, I was still watching film. I wanted to learn about the new coaches. I wanted to watch some of their individual drills. I wanted to see what Jason Michael did as a tight end coach because a lot of people had raved about him, particularly Trey Burton, who I'm one of my best friends. He was in my wedding. Loves the guy. And he's been so good for me mentally during this time. But just to see his individual and see what he was about. And so I'd watch him. I'd see this huge guy out there. I was like, man, this guy, he's pretty athletic, but it's going to be a while for him to be a tight end. And then I see him in person 2 months later in training camp, and he doesn't even look like the same person on the field. And I just think his development has been so rapid over the past month. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury, which is tough, but it's not going to set him back by any means. And I just think his development, he's constantly asking questions. He's constantly asking me things. Hey, what do you do on the field? What do you do off the field? What is your routine during a game week? How do you watch film? He's just constantly asking questions. And for a young player to do that, I'm all in helping them. And for the shorts, It is what it is. I'm not gonna. I mean, we're a Reebok family now. I don't know if everyone heard that, and so I think it was a little overblown.
Thanks for the time, Zach.
Yeah, thank you guys. Great to see you all again.